30 seconds for it to.
Tired squirrel. Okay. Meeting. Good evening. Welcome to DeKalb County Board of Zoning Appeals. Would you take roll call?
Frank Culver,
Here.
Mary Deal. Here. Jason Carnahan, Roy Walker.
Here.
Andrew Cruz.
Here.
Chris Gallmer.
Here.
Meredith Wright. Here.
The approval of a minutes, we're going to have to table that. Old business, we have none. New business, petition 24-06.
Petition 24-06 of Steel Dynamics requesting a development standards variance to allow
No,
for
I just,
an electronic message sign for the purpose of providing information to truck drivers within the property and increase the sign square footage from 100 square feet to 144 square feet. Property is located at 4500 County Road 59 in Butler and is zoned I3 High Intensity Industrial. If you take a look at your packet, and Meredith put on the table a site plan, front and back, of the location of the sign. As you can see, it's going to be located off the road towards the, I'm going to call it the rear or the side of the truck parking area. Again, the purpose of it's to, as you can see on the graphic they provided, timing for the trucks to pick up their loads. So in our non-residential district, we allow for permanent signs, obviously. This would be considered a permanent sign up to 100 square feet in size, not to exceed 25 feet in height. So again, they're asking for the variance of 100 square feet to 144 square feet, and then for it to be electronic as well. Meets all the other standards of the UDO, again, except for the sign being electronic and the size. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to take them. The petitioners are here and can answer any questions that you may have, if you have any.
yes, is there the representative from the Baldus Company here? Your name and address, please.
Good evening, I'm George Baldus with Baldus Company at 440 Breckenridge Street.
Hey, George, can you make sure the blue light's on the mic? Thank you.
Repeat. I'm George Baldus with the Baldus Company, 440 East Breckenridge Street in Fort Wayne. And I'm here with, and on behalf of our customer, Steel Dynamics, I appreciate what Chris did in summarizing what our petition is, so I won't repeat that necessarily, but to say that there are over 400 trucks that arrive and are processed through the facility 24 hours a day. And the part of the job of this sign is to help to manage all that traffic. They're there both to drop off product and pick up product. And as you can imagine, there's a queue in order to be able to do that. And the trucks are not necessarily parked in the row of which they're going to be marshaled through the property. So the purpose of this is to strictly tell the trucks where they are in the queue, when they're upcoming in the queue so they can be prepared, and then to trigger them when they're allowed to go where they're supposed to go. I have read the conditions for approval and agree with everything that I've seen. I appreciate working with staff and for their recommendation, and I don't have any other comments to make with regards to what our petition is.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Mary?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know that we have anybody else in the audience. You can open it up to members of the public. Anybody else that has any questions or any for or against? You want to speak? Okay, thank you. Judicial findings?
All right,
These are. I'm going-
Andrew, your
Yes.
mic, please.
Oh, there you go. Didn't have the green light.
You're on vacation for a week and now you
That's
forget
right,
it all.
forgot about the light. So I'm going to go through these proposed findings, and these are proposed, they're not final until voted upon one way or the other by the BZA. Jurisdictional findings, application completed and filed on May 10th, 2024,
Yes.
and legal notice published in the Star on May 31st with publisher's affidavit and receipt received.
Yes.
Certificate of mailing notices sent and receipts given to staff.
Yes.
Letter from the County Board of Health dated May 30th.
Yes.
Letter from the County Highway Department dated May 13th.
Yes.
Letter from the Soil and Water Conservation District dated May 10th.
Yes.
Letter from the County Surveyor or Drainage Board dated May 14th.
Yes.
And letter from the DeKalb County Airport Authority not applicable. So these proposed findings of fact here, we'll go through these questions and you can comment on any of them that you would like. There's 3 questions here for these proposed findings. Number 1, will the approval of the variance request be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community?
The use of the electronic sign and the increased size should not be injurious to the public, and the use will be for truck drivers within the campus of Steel Dynamics.
All right.
So no.
Okay. And again, any of you can speak anytime on these. Number 2, will the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance request be affected in a substantially adverse manner?
No, the use of electronic sign and the increased sign will not adversely affect the neighboring properties because the sign will be used by the truck drivers within the campus of Steel Dynamics.
And number 3, will the strict application of the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance result in practical difficulties in the use of the property?
I've got a different one on here.
You do? Okay, let me see. You're looking at the next one because I have these.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Okay,
Yes. So that's the question that goes with this. I had to borrow your sheet, so.
that's all right.
All right.
Okay. The answer is still yes. The use of electronic signs, increased size is needed for a visibility for the truck drivers and for employees of Steel Dynamics to quickly change the sign when needed.
Okay. Then we have conditions of approval that the staff is recommending approval and recommending the following conditions that we'll read on the record here. Number 1, the board retains continuing jurisdiction of this from the development standards variance to assure compliance with all terms and conditions and/or impose additional conditions deemed necessary for health and safety. Number 2, a development standards variance to allow the use of an electronic pole sign and increased size from 100 to 144 square foot would be approved if it's approved by the BZA. Number 3, comply with any applicable environmental standards as required in Article 5, 5.11 EN01 in the Unified Development Ordinance. Number 4, no off-site drainage crossing over said real estate should be obstructed by any development on this site. Number 5, no certificate of occupancy or certificate of completion shall be issued until the applicant files written evidence of compliance with any conditions of the DeKalb County Board of Health, Highway Department, Drainage Board, Surveyor, Airport, Soil and Water Conservation District, or other agency as applicable, and further, where applicable, file written evidence of compliance with federal or state agencies where identified in the findings or conditions, and the zoning administrator to determine when conditions have been met.
Anything else from either of the board members?
I don't have.
I would entertain a motion to approve.
I would do that. I'd make a motion to approve the sign.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Mary Deal,
Yes?
Roy Walker,
Yes.
Frank Pulver.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
You guys submitted a permit, the ILP. I'll email that to you tomorrow. I'm sure you'll do that. Fix the book, yeah.
Okay, next petition, 24-7, Charles and Linda Swartz.
Petition 24-07, Charles and Linda Swartz requesting a development standards variance to allow for the reduction in the rear yard setback to construct an addition on the rear of the residence. The property is located at 6751 County Road 9A in Garrett and is zoned R2, medium-density residential. You can see on the site plan, might not be there anymore, there was a deck there. And actually, that deck was not permitted to be placed there, or probably wouldn't have been allowed. I'm not sure how old the deck is, but obviously isn't meeting the current standards of the UDO for that deck addition. But they're going to remove the deck, or have removed the deck, and then plan to build a 3-season room. I believe it's a 3-season room, I can't remember. 3-season room on the rear of the residence, not meeting the standards of the UDO as far as setbacks, so requesting that development standards variance for approximately 16 feet, for it to be 4 feet from the property line. They have received approval, that letter was in your packets as well, from the Holiday Lakes Board of Directors. They actually, sounds like they require them to send notice to the neighboring properties, at least the adjacent neighbors, and they didn't have any objections to that, so the Board of Directors have approved this and are requesting that we do the same, or that you guys do the same. I believe that's all I got. The potential, or the minimum rear yard setback's 20 feet. They're requesting that variance for 16 feet to be 4 feet at its closest point.
Okay.
Be happy to answer any questions you guys have, if you have any.
So this is going to be enclosed, screened?
We'll ask Dave if he's here. I assume he is. There he is. Come on up to the mic, Dave, if you
Up to the
can.
mic, please, and give your name and address, please.
Yeah, I'm Dave DeKalb from DDK Construction, 6837 County Road 19. I'm the builder. Charlie and Linda is here with me tonight. What we're trying to do is right now there's a 16 by 22 deck on the back side of this thing. We're going to tear it off. And we're going to put a 12, come out 12 foot from the house, 22 add on to it. Is what we're doing. It's a 3-season room. It's not going to have heat or anything in it. It's going to be closed in. It's going to have a footer and everything underneath it. Closed in, it'll look like the rest of the house and everything. Actually, we're doing something more. I mean, like I said, we're where the boundary lines are and everything is, where the deck is, it would mean we only need 4 feet to make this work. And where the deck is right now, the old deck sitting there, measure off from that seawall they have there, it's almost 20 feet. So they're going to gain more in the backyard of what we're doing. Like I said, like Chris said, we sent all the letters out. We didn't have any complaints or anything. It's going to look good on the back side of the house, and it was something they can use and stay away from the mosquitoes and stuff.
So I take it the Holiday Lakes Associations has a covenant of some sort that,
That is correct, yeah.
right.
Probably have an architectural review board or something that
Yeah, they have
reviews
a
all the.
committee.
Yeah.
And that's, you've seen in your packet, there's a letter that they approved it. Then you also got a certified, or a letter that we send them to also, so we got hit twice.
Good to keep the neighbors happy.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other questions? Rory,
No, I don't.
Harry?
Nope, Chris answered the one question I did have.
Okay.
Any public? I know there's one member of the public out there. Did you have any comments? Okay, then I'll go through the findings. These, again, are proposed findings. They're not final until until voted on by the BZA, one way or the other. But we go through these proposed findings to have everybody understand what's being discussed here. So number one, application completed and filed on May 24th.
Yes.
Legal notice published in the Star on May 31st with publisher's affidavit and receipt received.
Yes.
Certificate of mailing notices sent and receipts given to staff.
Yes.
Letter from the County Board of Health dated May 30th.
Yes.
Letter from the County Highway Department dated May 28th.
Yes.
Letter from the Soil and Water Conservation District dated May 24th.
Yes.
Letter from the County Surveyor or Drainage Board dated May 24th.
Yes.
And letter from the County Airport Authority not applicable. Again, we have 3 proposed findings to go through. And the first one is, will the approval of the variance request be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community?
No, the proposed reduction in the rear yard setback shall not be injurious to the public. Also see letters from the various county departments without objection.
And number 2, will the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance request be affected in a substantially adverse manner?
No, the proposed reduction in the rear yard setback will not adversely affect the neighboring properties. The homeowners association approved the addition and no neighbors objected.
Number 3, the last one, will the strict application of the terms of the Unified Development Ordinance result in practical difficulties in the use of the property?
Yes, the proposed reduction in the rear yard setback is needed due to the existing gas lines as well, location to the west, the main power source to the east.
All right.
The rest of that, that's on your tax.
Okay, all right. All right. So then we have proposed conditions of approval. Staff is recommending approval and is recommending the following conditions as part of that approval. Number 1, the board retains continuing jurisdiction of this from development standards variance to assure compliance with all terms and conditions and/or impose additional conditions deemed necessary for health and safety. Number 2, a development standards variance to allow the reduction in the rear yard setback to 4 feet to construct an addition on the rear of the residence will be approved. Number 3, comply with any applicable environmental standards as required in Article 5, 5.11 EN-01 in the Unified Development Ordinance. Number 4, no off-site drainage crossing over said real estate should be obstructed by any development on the site. And number 5, no certificate of occupancy or certificate of completion shall be issued until the applicant files written evidence of compliance with any conditions of the DeKalb County Board of Health, Highway Department, Drainage Board, Surveyor, Airport, Soil and Water Conservation District, or other agency is applicable. And further, where applicable, file written evidence of compliance with federal or state agencies where identified in the findings or conditions. The zoning administrator to determine when conditions have been met.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Yes, I have put forth a motion to approve petition 24-07.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion and seconded.
Okay. Roy Walker,
Yes.
Mary Deal,
Yes.
Frank Pulver.
Yes. Thank you.
Dave, I'll tell Terry to get that thing issued tomorrow for you. All right.
Thank you.
Just so the board's aware, Larry Williams resigned.
Sorry, I'm done. I forgot now.
Chris!
And she's going, Larry Williams resigned May 10th from the Board of Zoning Appeals. Commissioners have appointed Andrew Provines, but he has one conflict that's not allowing him to be part of the board right now, and that should be taken care of hopefully by the next meeting. Knock on wood, we have one. So, yeah, just wanted you guys to be aware of that. I didn't know that Larry resigned until after the last meeting, so I don't think anyone has really heard it from the horse's mouth, me, that he resigned. So, there you go.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
that all, folks?
That's all.
We're adjourned.